Hey everybody, my name is Chris Kozlowski, and last year my father and I attended the 2022 Masters on Saturday. As I was doing my research, trying to figure out where we would go, where we would watch the action, the one thing I couldn't find on the internet anywhere was a map showing where the crosswalks were, the areas where you can cross the fairways. And so I thought this year I'd help people out that are planning and show you a map that you can get when you walk in to Augusta. Where you can pick up this map that shows the crosswalks is right where you're walking in. My dad and I entered at the north gate. It's a big entry plaza, and they were handing out both this map, which included the pairings for the day. We went on Saturday, and it also includes a map of the course filled with a bunch of points of interest, as well as the crosswalks, which you can see in gold. They also gave us this handy spectator guide. They have spectator suggestions. The first suggestion that they have is the back of number 2 and number 7 green. We did not put our chair there, but we definitely think that's one of the best spots in the course. Back of 2 especially, you can see the second shots coming down the long par 5 there. Back of 7 is also fantastic. You're in this like bowl area and where you can see 2, you can see 7, you can see the tee on 3, and it's just a really fantastic area of the course. Where my dad and I ended up putting our chairs was the back of 14. And we originally came in and we got there as early as we could, and we didn't have the correct chairs. You can't bring in folding chairs to Augusta that have arms, and those are the only folding chairs we had. So we decided to first go to the gift shop to get Masters chairs, and then to run out really fast and put them down behind our hole, because as you've done any research about the Masters, you'll know that you can kind of just leave your chair and no one will mess with it. And people might be sitting in it when you come back to sit in it, but then you can just nicely ask them to move, and they will. It's kind of this unwritten rule. So we got our chairs from the gift shop, and we walked down. We tried to get on 16, and I kind of regret not putting my chairs at the back of 16. That area of the course has always been just, I don't know if it's the best par 3 on the course or not, but it's always kind of electric. And I just remember watching 16 and seeing the Tigers' famous chip in from a number of years ago. We should have put chairs there. There was already kind of a couple rows of chairs surrounding the back of the green, but we could have put chairs probably in the third or fourth row, and they would have been absolutely fine. So that's a piece of advice I have to you. Like, don't worry, especially if there's a hole you want to be on and you're a couple rows back. I think you'll be absolutely fine putting a chair there. You don't have to be absolutely in the first row. We found that on Saturday there were a lot of spots. And so we went with my secondary option, which if 16 didn't work, we were going to walk to the back of 14. And indeed, there was some chairs up already, but there was plenty of the back of the green that didn't have chairs yet. The one problem with this is they hadn't actually dug the new hole yet on Saturday, so we didn't quite know what side of the green to be on, and so we picked, from our perspective, looking from behind the green down to forward the right side, and the pin that day was on the left, so it wasn't quite we could have gotten a little bit better, but we still, we had the front row seats. We ended up sitting next to this very nice lady. It was cold on Saturday, and so I would not recommend 14 if there's any kind of cold breeze that day. It felt very exposed, and we kind of froze our butts off a little. The course itself is just it's surreal. It's immaculate. It's everything they tell you. I don't understand how they can get grass that uniformly green. I don't want to know, but it's incredible. You walk in, it feels like Main Street, Disney World. It's all very well curated, and then it kind of dumps you out there below the tee box on 1, and you don't realize just how open the center of the course is. You can see all the way down to 15, that bridge on 15. In front of the stands that's over the water there, you can see like directly down to that, and it was incredible, like having watched the tournament so many years on TV, just to be like, there it is, like, oh my gosh, and the whole thing just opens up to you. I would absolutely recommend to walk the course. I have every hole now in my mind so much better than it was before. I know how the holes relate to each other. I've got a sense of that famous elevation that everybody talks about. Absolutely, if you're there for one day like we were, take the time, get there as early as you can, walk the course. That was probably my favorite part, was just walking the course, and every around every turn was something new you recognized. And then, you get to Amen Corner, and you feel that corner of the golf course, and you feel how all the elevation is just falling directly towards that, and Race Creek and everything. Quite fantastic. In terms of spectating, we did sit in the bleachers behind 12 for quite a while. Where we're 11 green, 12 tee box, and then of course the famous par three there. I think it would be cool to sit there for one of the tournament days. I if I ever go back, I'm putting my chair behind 16. I want to be there where they come through, and I want to see the shots come into the green. And I know probably people like 12 a bit better than they like 16, and I think it's probably a better golf hole, but I don't know, something to me in 16, I just really, if I ever get another shot to go back to Augusta, I will. That's where I will be. Some other impressions I have, the pro shop is, it reminds me of like Bucky's in its efficiency, and it's so much bigger than you would have anticipated. Just hundreds and hundreds of people. I bought gifts for some friends, some buddies that I go on a golf trip with. I bought a flag. One of my bigger regrets from when we were there in the morning, we went in the gift shop first to get the chairs, and we were very dedicated on that, so we didn't have time to mull around. I wish I would have picked up a flag. They were out of Masters flags by the time we got back to the gift shop later in the day. I did pick up an Augusta National Women's Amateur flag, which is displaying behind the camera right now. And I'm glad I have it, though I wish I would have gotten that and a Masters flag so I could hang them side by side. The gift shop prices are very reasonable. I think the folding chairs were $30 a piece, which is maybe a little on the pricier side for folding chairs, but they are very good quality, way better than the chairs you can get at Walmart or what have you. I thought $30 was a fair price. The flags were only $25. I thought extremely reasonable. People were going nuts over the gnomes. I saw that one of the gnomes was featured in one of the ads that they were running for this year's Masters, and I'm like, people really just like geek out of those gnomes. I think what they do at Augusta in the gift shop is they release items, and they have a set quota of how many items they're going to release every day. So like, say they have like 2,000 flags to sell on Saturday. Once they reach that quota, they'll reserve additional flags for Sunday. And I think that's what was happening with the gnomes. They, however many gnomes per day they allotted the gift shop, and people were just going nuts and taking like 8 of them. Maybe to resell, I don't know, but that's a word of advice. If the gift shop runs out of something and you're there multiple days, go there first thing the next day, and I think they might have restocked what you're looking for. That being said, if there's something you absolutely need to get from the gift shop, I would probably A, put your chair down first, and then B, go to the gift shop and get the thing. The food as advertised, like just cheaper. I can't imagine they make any money off the food or beverage. It's probably at cost. The cups are fantastic. I saved a bunch of them from the drinks my dad and I got. I will. The food is okay. And maybe it's just because again, the day we went, it was so cold. But your pimento cheese sandwich is a pimento cheese sandwich. I live in Columbia, South Carolina. I originally grew up in the Metro Detroit area, so I didn't really know what pimento cheese was growing up. But since I moved to Columbia, I know pimento cheese, and the pimento cheese in the Masters it's your standard pimento cheese. There's nothing very fancy about it. Same with the egg salad, just solid, good egg salad. Both those sandwiches come on pretty standard, like white bread. They're good, and they're definitely worth the cost at like whatever, like a couple bucks. But they are not any sort of like culinary breakthrough. It's very basic. I did get one of the chicken sandwiches. It was ice cold by the time I ate it, so I don't even want to judge it. The beers were fine. I think they have like a standard beer, which tasted like, like a Bud Light or a Miller Lite. And then they had their Crow's Nest beer, which was more like tasted like a Sam Adams, basically, to me. So a little bit more flavor than the standard beer, but extremely reasonable prices, better than you'd get at any stadium. All of that is true. I will say that share that experience with my father was just one of the most special moments that we've ever shared together. We could not stop smiling for the first 3 or 4 hours. My face started hurting. I would love to have had a camera follow us around, because I'm sure just we were wide eyed like little kids, just like, walking the grounds of this course that we've been watching on TV for our entire lives. Neither my father or I are that good at golf. I'm like a 20 handicap. He's not any better than that. As I've gotten older, I think we've bonded more and more over our love of the game, and we'll text back and forth on tournaments in the weekend. So just to be able to have that only one day, it was so fleeting. And of course, no cell phones, no cameras during tournament play at Augusta. So most of it is right up here. We did stand in line to take a picture at the front of Magnolia Lane there. Definitely do that. The line goes more quick than you would think. When we got into line, it was wrapped around on one of the drives there, all the way basically to the back of the clubhouse. There's a spot where you can kind of see down into the par three course, and that's where the line started. It was easily like, if you imagine the clubhouse and then a 360-degree circle around it, it was like pretty much 90 to 110 degrees around clockwise from where they took the pictures. Easily a couple hundred people ahead of us in line. There's a bit of a queue, the zigzags next to the members practice tee, but most of it was just people lined up on the side of the road. And it took us about 45 minutes to get through the line. I'm a millennial. I'm 35 years old. It's rare you have time away from your phone that long, or time away from screens. And I'm so glad they do that. I think more entertainment venues to just be like, hey, just put your phone in this locker or don't bring it. I'm not one of those guys that says phones are bad, but it is special to have the time where it's like you are away from your phone right now and you have to live in the moment. So like, drink it in, suck it up. It's just so nice to not have people holding up their phones trying to take a photo of, a million golfers. It's just nice to have everybody in the moment there with you. You really do feel this sense of, I don't want to say community because you don't know any of these people, of course, but you feel this sense of collectivity. Like, we're all here, we're watching the same thing, we're all very interested and very, very jazzed to be here. And there's that electricity in the air. You can feel, you can sense it. And so it's super great that there's no phones. I think that's such a good choice. I can say for Saturday, and again, this was just my experience with the day. It was a very cold day, so I imagine that there was some people that did not hang around the entire day. But we were able to, once everyone came through 14, we walked up to 18 and we stood behind 18 green. There was a lot of space there, and 18 green is kind of down in a bowl. It's very kind of stadium-esque around there. There's a ton of rows of seating. If I were to do it again, and assuming the kind of same crowd dynamics as there were on that Saturday, like, I might post up behind 2 or 7. And then once people go through there, head to 18 and like put my chair down, 30, 35 rows back on 18, because you still have a great view. It was quite nice, and we weren't quite able to put our chairs down at the end of the day because we were on 14, and so 18 was already pretty crowded. But I think it's because people were probably trickling out throughout the day. It was cold, but we had a great view. And we watched the leaders come through. We watched Scotty come through at the end, and the sun was out, and it was just extremely beautiful and a great way to wrap up the day at Augusta. I live in Columbia, South Carolina, so my dad was able to fly in to Columbia a couple days before we were heading down there on the Saturday, and then fly out a couple days after the Masters had ended. Hard recommend if you're coming in from other states to see the Masters, like, come to Columbia. I mean, we sell out, the hotels and stuff sell out here. You'll have to plan ahead, but the drive down there was very easy. We left super early, of course, but it's about an hour 15 down to Augusta. Not bad at all. So yeah, those are my impressions. Hopefully that crosswalk map helps you all out. Hopefully some of my impressions helped. If you have any questions, let me know. Again, I was only there for one day. Augusta National is one of those quintessentially American institutions. There's a lot that it does right. There's a lot that it does and has done wrong, in my opinion. But I think that, like a lot of things that are complicated, experiencing them gives you a view into them, right? So do it. Go with somebody you love and have a good day with them. Thanks.